Hello, and welcome to part 3 of Colour It My Way with Liz. I'm so excited to be doing this. This is Colour It My Way with Sandy and Liz. So today we're going to be completing the picture. I'm going to show you how I colour these flowers and the leaves, the string, the scissors, and finishing the background. So we've got quite a lot to get through today, and I hope you'll enjoy it. I just want to stress again that this is a colour along with Sandy. It's a Colour It My Way. She's doing her own thing. I'm doing my own thing. It's a 3-part series. This is part 3. If you haven't caught part 1 and 2, they will be linked up at the top over here on the screen. I'll put a card in, and you can watch them. And I would love to encourage you to pop along to Sandy's channel and pop between Sandy's channel and my channel and see how we're both doing the same picture. And it's kind of to try and show you and comfort you that there's no one correct way of doing something, but it's something we do for fun and we do to express ourselves, and we all have our own way of doing art, and colouring particularly is for our mental health, for our relaxation, for our spiritual well-being. So we want to encourage you to do it your way, or if you want to follow along with either of us, you are most welcome to do so. So now I'm going to start with this. I'm going to zoom in and it will wobble a moment, so close your eyes for a second. And there we are. I'm going to do this leaf. I've done these two, and I want to show you how I did them. And I also have left that one to show you the covering up of blupsies, little mistakes where the paint, the gouache paint, went on that leaf. So because of that, I'm doing it quite darkly, and I've used the two darker colors. I've used the permanent red 122 and the orange 918 on this. So always need to turn my book just a little bit. So I did this very simply, just going first lightly around the edges, and I want these leaves to look slightly round, so I'm doing darker around the edges, just to block in a bit of shaping here. And then I've used a black around the outside to do some cast shadows. And we should be able to cover this orange problem without too much worry. I think we often get a bit beside ourselves when something goes wrong and think, oh, I've messed this up, this book that cost me 3 chocolates and 7 dinners that I can no longer get back. I've now messed it up with a piece of orange paint. Well, no, you haven't. So that's a light bit, and now a light bit of the orange, just to block in the colors. And as you can see, I always go around the dark area with the lighter color as well, especially with yellows and oranges, because they're so delightful the way they brighten things. Now I'm going in and I'm going outside the line to color that little bit of white with a heavy pressure. I'm going to start at the middle here. So this is quite heavy pressure, and why I wanted quite a sharp point, because that flattens the tooth of the paper a bit. How long have you guys been coloring? Have you just started? Is it something you've been doing for ages and just enjoy? I think I started in about 2016. I was teaching singing, and one of my adult pupils brought me a Relax with Art book as a gift to her teacher, and I appreciated the gift so much, and so didn't want it to go to waste, so I started colouring in it. and didn't actually know what to do. I felt so lost. So I went on Google and found YouTube videos, and I was hooked. Okay, so as you can see, that orange thing was completely covered. There is a bit of white showing through, so now I'm going to use a little bit of zested. This is orange that I had on here, but I just want to clean the stump a little bit. This poor stump has seen better days. So I'm just blending. In case you don't know what zested is, it's a natural based from citrus, a natural based pencil blender. It is toxic, but less toxic than mineral spirits and things like that. So it's got quite a heavy smell, not unpleasant, but quite heavy. So I've done that, and then I usually just go over certain areas once again to brighten them a little bit. And then what I also did on this, and I'm going to continue here, look at my poor little teeny tiny black crayon. I need a new one, and I haven't got any extra pencil extenders right now. So I went just with the cast shadows to define the shape here, because this is so like the background of, the color is so similar to the background of the image. I've just done this and gone around outside as well. Just very carefully to go on there. I've did that the other day. So I'm going to leave this undone there. So that's that finished. Now I want to do the stalks, and I think I want them to be I wonder if we should make them the lighter ones so they stand out a bit more. I'm going to try the first stalk with this yellowed orange. And I just want to sharpen my white as well. Oops, wrong color. So I'm going down the one side of the stalk. The reason I'm doing that is that I want the other side to look like a highlight. And then I'm going to go over that with my white pencil and blend that out a little bit. It's a little bit time consuming to do this, but I find it quite relaxing. I hope I'm on screen. Yes, I am. And then I'm just going to go over it again to brighten it. So layers, layers, and a few more layers. And just at the bottom as well. So I think it needs to be a little broader. I think that looks okay there. This I did with this yellowed orange, and I'm going to continue it down there. I left one of these to do with you, so all I did was just block coloring them. And then colouring on the one side here. Just wanted to tell you guys that I do share the occasional free colouring page on my Facebook page, and you're very welcome to join my Facebook page anytime you like. I will share a link to that, and I also have some colouring pages in my Etsy shop, which you're welcome to go and look at in case you're interested in buying them. So now this I want to do as the pale lemon. I just wanted to point out that you can see over here there's a little bit that I didn't get with the paint, and I found the Staedtler fine liner is the same color, so I'm filling those little areas in with my fine liner to get them orange, which is very, very handy. And I may just use either the brown or the orange fine liner on these little flowers. Not quite sure. Not sure what kind of a plant this is. I suspect it tells us at the back of the book, but that would entail having to look through the whole book and count the pages again. So I think that's fine. I'm going to do, shall I make all the stalks the same? I think so, just for the sake of uniformity. So I'm doing the center, quite a lot of it, and then just the end with the yellow, with the lemon, and leaving a bit of white for highlight. And see what that ends up looking like. I'm afraid this video is going to get very long, so just want to see, and I can do these off camera. Hope I'm talking loudly enough once again as I'm doing things so my voice disappears. I watch Netflix and there's this program called Extraordinary Homes, and I can't remember the name of the presenter, but it's so funny. The one lady, I really like watching her. She's also kind of not in her first blush of youth, and as she walks into something that's beautiful, so her voice gets all soft and hushed and almost in awe. And I think it's kind of very, makes me think, I don't know, it makes me like her. So maybe I'll just go over the white bits and blend those in. These Prismacolor white pencils. What's your favorite white pencil for blending? Do you blend with a white pencil? Let me know in the comments. And once again, if you're popping in here from Sandy's channel and you haven't visited me before, if you'd like to consider subscribing, I'd be ever so grateful. That would be truly wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to finish those off screen. Now I'm going to go on to the scissors. So now this is the one thing that I'm not really going to be using the yellows for. I've got all my grays here. I wanted to use a cold gray. Here's a, that's 20. I think I wanted 30%. 30% cool gray. I wanted a dark one as well. Don't want warm gray. 70% cool grey. And then I want an almost black, 90% cool grey. I wonder if I can use my black, probably not. And I'm going to need the white. I'll use the black a little bit here and there. So now, let's start with where we think the shadow will be, where I will use the black. I'm going to have to find a pencil extender. I've got one on my blender pencil here. I like this extender. There we are. So this is the Prismacolor black. I'm going to use that there. And I'm going to use this. I think I want a highlight sort of along there and around the curve of the scissor handle. So I'm going to use that black there and a bit where the shade would be around this screw that holds it all together. Always a bit nervous with doing metals. They are not my strong point. And I'm going to actually do the end here, just because it's got the orange on it again. So I apologize for speeding this bit up. If you want me to do another picture soon where I do a real-time metal object and chat my way through how I'm trying to do it. As I say, I'm really not an expert on them, but I've read a lot and I've tried. Then I'll do that with love. I just am getting quite concerned that this video is getting really, really long. So I've used shaded areas with the black. Now I'm using the 70% grey and doing shady bits as well, sharpening my pencils and just lightly kind of going out, because when you look at a metal object, it has a lot of reflected light in it. So then I go from that into the 30%. After this I use the 30% grey and then the white, and I keep sharpening the pencils because they really need to be sharp to fill in the tooth. I'm not using a very light hand on this. I'm using quite a heavy hand, and it's quite frightening to look at when you get to this stage, because it looks a bit like a hot mess, but when you finish it kind of looks okay. I am not thrilled with my outcome of this, but I'm fairly happy with how it ended up. So this is the 30% cool grey and then the trusty white pencil to blend it all together. And then I did go over it with a little bit of Zest It, and then did highlights and things again on it off camera. I fiddled and fiddled with it. So if you want me to do this in real time one day, a different metal object, please let me know. So now on to the ball of string, and I'm using the sandbar brown and going around the kind of edges of each of the like strands of string to try and give them some definition, and I'm trying to color along the edges in the direction that the strand is running. I must admit I get myself a bit confused looking at these things, and I went quite darkly over the edge where again I'd messed up with my orange gouache, and so I just basically colored this in a normal way, and I tried to make sure that I had a sharp pencil, went around the edges, and so there's the dark bits, And then I just used the lighter pressure and some beige around to lighten it on the inside. I blended it with Prismacolor beige. So I haven't shown you the entire process of the string, but I just wanted to give you an idea of the colors that I used. I'm sorry, the video is getting quite long. I hope Sandy's managed to get hers done more succinctly, more quickly. So now I've finished this page, except for the extra things I want to do with the background. And what I want to do is to try and give a kind of bokeh effect with the little circles to show kind of diffused light. So the way I'm going to do that, because I'm not using color pencils, is with this little finger dauber. This is a small one. It's got a sponge at the end. It's sort of a little sponge thing that you clean with water, and I've got a bigger one. And then I've got this stuff which is called Versa Magic, and it's chalk cloud white. And then I've also got some gouache, white gouache, and I'm going to put a little bit of that onto a plate. Let me shake it up. I'm just having a glug of water. I do hope you've enjoyed this collaboration that I've done with Sandy. And I do hope that you will go and check out her channel as well. And I brought my paintbrush with me. Here it is. This is an old paintbrush I'm using, and some water. So I just want to water down the gouache a little bit in the one area on. This is just an old saucer ceramic plate that I don't use at all. So I want to get rid of the globbies and make this kind of smooth. Bit more water. There, that's smooth, and going to just get a thicker bit as well over here. So that's a thicker bit of gouache and the thinner gouache. And now I can't decide if I'm going to end up doing this side with it as well, or just the side that we were working on. So I'm going to start on this side first with this chalk paint. So I can't remember how much is left on here. There is still some. And then basically I'm just making circles, and I do quite a few from the one don't know what the word is, the one where one impression, I suppose, because as it fades out, so it looks further away. These have got the center a bit and now I'm going to do some with this bigger one. I'm going to try and cover this whole thing with the chalk. And it's not working brilliantly, so now I'm going to do this on some of the watered out gouache to try and make sure that I've covered. I'm going to actually use my paintbrush here to cover the whole area with gouache, and that should make it a bit brighter. Excuse my hand going over and over. I just want it there. That's a nice big one. Going to go over that one. I prefer these. And now some very bright. Whoops. And so now just continue in this way using both effects until I land up with an end product that I feel happy with. I also used a little bit of water every here and there to lighten things down, and you can easily remove off the wax. You can remove the squash off the wax quite easily with a damp paper towel, just to kind of, it brings some of the orange forward and also creates a nice, a different circle. So we've reached the end of our collaboration, and this is the end product we've landed up with. I ended up doing the background on both pages just to give uniformity, because I feel that the two go together with the same color scheme. Thank you so much, Sandy, for including me in this collaboration, and thank you so much to everybody that's joined us in watching, and I do hope you've enjoyed it. Goodbye now.